you are a B2B service-based business owner and you are looking to gain more clients, create more impact and more revenue in your business, tune in to Amplify Your Marketing Message with Christine Campbell Rapin. Every week, we're going to take you through how to build an audience of buyers, mastering your marketing message, and making offers. Welcome back, my friends. I am here to broadcast loudly this week that momentum isn't magic. It isn't a mystery. It is management. And I'm going to show you exactly what to manage to build that momentum in your business. Welcome to Amplify Your Marketing Message. I am your host, Christine Campbell Rapin, and I believe that one step taken consistently at the speed at which you choose is the key to momentum. But direction plays a big role. Management is the key to it all. Because here's the thing I'm seeing. You're hoping that momentum will occur. You're dreaming of it, but you're not doing the things that matter. Business development is not a task on your to-do list. Running your business with a to-do list mentality is keeping you broke, out of momentum, and struggling more than you need to. And staying there, my friends, is a choice. Not one I invite you to make, one I invite you to change. Business development is a non-negotiable, and it is the most important big rock in your business every single day in the life of your business. And I watch too many people say that that's a someday activity. They get distracted in the noise. And yet I will tell you, the distraction of the noise costs you and creates the roller coaster you're on. Successful salespeople are not built on magic. Those that have consistently successful careers in sales come down to those that know how to run a pipeline and recognize that relationships and management of the conversation with relationships with other people is a strategic asset that we manage actively. And so I want you to have a business that rewards you like a business. Consistent income, knowing your bills and then some are paid, where you write your own paycheck. But to do that, you need to run your business like a CEO who leads a sales org, because sales is non-negotiable. And it doesn't have to be hard. Trust me, it really doesn't. It just takes a system that has intentional movement that we stay disciplined to create momentum around. So I'm going to give you a couple key tips today on how I do this. This is me running my business. This is also me running other people's businesses. And it's how collectively we've been able to double our business every year we've been in business. And I've helped other business owners, more than 400 of them, create $1 billion in revenue. That's B with a billion behind it. Badass, right? It comes down to the following. First things first is you must know your numbers. You cannot build momentum without measurement. And I will tell you this, I think the number one reason businesses struggle is because they're afraid to measure. And sometimes people use the word accountability, and you just got to think, if you want to take a language lesson with me for a sidebar moment, accountability is the Latin word for measure. So measurement isn't judgment. So stop the judgment. What is. A CEO knows what is. Results on the bottom line is the only thing that matters. If you want to be rewarded like a CEO, act like one and measure your numbers. Second piece of the puzzle is that movement is the key to building momentum, which means that you have to move every opportunity forward. That means you should have a discipline, I think, every day and every week and every month around the things you track that says, are we on course? Or do we need a course correction? And do we have the right seats at the table? I have implemented Salesforce that CRM specifically twice in organizations when I was employed corporately. And here's the philosophy that we built our day-to-day around. If it's not in the CRM, and you could be using a spreadsheet or something as complicated as Salesforce, you do you, whatever you need, but don't outscope the CRM. The best CRM that exists on the planet is the one you will use. But here's what we used to say, and I say it to myself every single day. If it's not in the CRM, it doesn't exist. If it's in the CRM, it must be actively managed. We must determine the different categories and the proximity to one business and manage accordingly our day-to-day priorities. And if you are not doing this, tracking, moving, and monitoring, you are hoping and waiting for a miracle. Stability does not get created in magic. It gets created in intentional leadership. And I will tell you this, running a CRM is not the glory part of your business. I used to say to my team, it's a non-negotiable. If you do not run your CRM, if you do not track the day you spent, if I do not have visibility to a grenade that's being lobbed at me, you will not stay in my team. And I take that same attitude to my business today. And that's why my business is on this massive growth trajectory. I want stability, and I'm willing to play with the CRM mentality. And if it's not in there, it doesn't exist. If it's up to me and it's in there, I must move it. And I must monitor and track the closest path to cash and be sure my day is run by the big rocks that move us towards income and not get lost in the distractions. And as a result, that's where the sexiness comes. That's where the choice comes from. That's where the freedom of writing your own paycheck comes from. So I invite you to know your numbers and to commit to the discipline of running your business like a business so it will reward you as such. And that means you have to commit here, right now, in your own mind. Commit to stop relying on hope and instead really understand how to create demand. And demand is the name of the game. And this is an economics lesson. So sit down, Buttercup, buckle up. We're going to take you to my first year of university when I understood and started the journey with economics. And yeah, guess what, guys, in case you didn't know, I didn't just decide to be a business mentor. I equipped myself with business skills and I've used them for 25 years, which is why people hire us. I understand economics, both macro and micro. I can write your P&L, I can write your books. I don't want to, but I do understand it. And that enables me to help correct, guide, and create really predictable results with clients. But demand is the name of the game. You are looking for, is there activity, movement in the marketplace? Do people know they have a problem? Are they prepared to invest? What are they investing in? How do I compare? And instead, if you don't think about demand, you're relying on a hope strategy. And I think sometimes that's the big gap. I think a lot of people think that the business world is really just about, I have this great idea, I'm going to go to the marketplace and it's going to fly. And I will tell you that's the fastest path to crickets. It's not about what you want to supply. Truly, you put the cart before the horse. It's what does the market demand and can I serve it? And you must build this skill of creating demand, which means you must understand how to build leads, how to build interest, how to build movement with those who have a known problem they want solved, and you can supply guidance, a framework, and a predictable outcome. So stop relying on hope. I want you to audit right now. Think back over the last 30 days in your business. The people you've talked to, what is their intent to buy? And what does that horizon look like? I see so many clients stuck in one-to-one meetings that go nowhere because they're talking to people with low intent to solve the problem. And every week when we're working with our clients, whether we're in our Momentum to Millions program, whether we're in the Momentum Builder program, note that everything starts with momentum. We are asking the question, how many people are on your pipeline? What stage are they at? And what is their intent to purchase when? And we use this philosophy of 3 lanes of traffic. You may have heard this. There are podcast episodes specifically around this in this show, so go search for them. But we talk about the slow, middle, and fast lane. And that comes down to the speed at which they want to make a decision and start creating the results. If you have everybody in the slow lane, you're talking to someday buyers. Well, my friends, a whole calendar of low intent someday buyers will keep you broke because there's no movement in the yes. It's too far away. And yet we do want low intent buyers in our ecosystem because we constantly know that a low intent buyer, if something happens, there's a moment, an impact, a trigger, they could immediately become a buyer tomorrow. And I want to stay top of mind with them, but watch how you get caught in the someday dream hope strategy. The second lane is the middle lane, and this is somebody who's in the current problem right now. We always like repeating problems. They create stability and consistent income, and it gives us the ability to serve a client repeatedly, which is awesome for our relationships, our long-term value of a client, and the win and trust is faster. But you're looking for the pattern of today, which means I have to solve this in the next 30 to 60 days. Because they have 2 choices: keep the problem and white knuckle my way through till the pattern repeats, or I could solve it today. And your job is to not hope they do that, it's to invite them to consider changing directions. The decision ultimately is theirs, but our movement towards that spin is the day-to-day big rock priority. Fast lane is somebody who has already made the decision to solve this, already decided, and they are hoping that you will lead them to is today the day. They want to solve it within the next 30 days. Ideally, maybe even today, maybe even this week. And our job is to stay in communication and ask all the time, is today the day? And be ready to receive the yes. But I want you to audit your last 30 days. What does your pipeline look like? When I work with my clients, I said in our programs, I say, bring up your dashboard. Every month we do this, every single month, bring up your dashboard. How many people are in the fast lane? How many people are in the middle lane? How many people are in the slow lane? And how has this ecosystem changed? How have you moved this pipeline forward? And that is both in terms of decisions and in speed. And yes, sometimes people will go from slow lane to fast lane. Sometimes they also go the other way. But movement is the key, because guys, I told you, movement is management and momentum is built on the movement, not magic. So you want to recognize, how are you playing the game? And if you're getting conceptually, I get this, but I'm a little lost, you're lost because you don't live it currently. So don't expect yourself to suddenly build skills like a unicorn. I want to help you build the skills by showing you, teaching you, mentoring you, and supporting you. And if you're curious about that, go to ChristineCampbellRapin.com and let's have a conversation, because momentum is the name of the game. You can adjust your speed, but managing the pipeline and building it and stacking it so that you have enough people to always be in the middle and fast lane is a system. And I want to share with you the fast track to that system right now. So momentum comes from activity. Okay, I said you can choose your speed, but getting off zero is non-negotiable in my world. And so what are we going to do with it? I think the right rooms, the right stages, the right authority-driven content, making direct invitations, and nurturing relationships are how we win. Note I didn't say super complicated tech. Note I didn't say you had to have paid ads. Note I didn't say you had to have bucket loads of money. I know that there is a numbers game. I started with that. But I never lose sight that people can move in one conversation. So I must stack momentum by knowing really clear who I am, what I serve, and I get active in the right rooms, right stages, right communities, right relationships, right asks, and the right content that is both owned authority and borrowed authority. What makes us awesome? We have a track record. I've created $1 billion with people. I know how to manage a pipeline. In fact, interestingly enough, I will tell you I have been both loved and hated by CEOs when I've been at the table, because I am really disciplined with a pipeline. And that meant I was the top performing salesperson in most orgs I worked with. I've won awards, I've been the top performer, and here's the kicker why they hate me. I've also been the only woman who's done it. I worked mostly in my career in male-dominated industries. I did not win business with my bar tab. I winned it with the relationships. I winned it, seriously, Christine, I can't even speak. I won it with relationships. I won it with the discipline of listening and managing a pipeline. And this is a skill that can be acquired. It gives you the freedom, like my clients who say, I had the most amazing thing. I got a phone call from my friend and client, Dan. Dan said to me, I had the wildest thing happen. And we've been working right now with Dan on creating a dashboard, working the dashboard. And he said, I don't know why this works. I just have evidence it does. Because if I'm in activity, it isn't always that direct opportunity wins. Something else moves, because our natural state is to be in motion. And he called me the other day and he said, I won my biggest client ever, a retained client, $4,000 a month. And I said, tell me the journey that you got there. And he said, I went from first contact to one client in less than a week. It's the fastest I've ever done it. My head is still truthfully spinning. I'm struggling a bit with imposter syndrome, but I got how the system creates my stability. I knew what to say, when to say it, how to lead them, and I was prepared to receive the result. And I was so freaking excited for him, because he created it. He created it with tools we taught, but he's using the tools effectively. And that's the name of the game, because you have to move the pipeline. It's momentum. And this is the invitation I want you to take today. Great sales are structured. Great systems scale your business. And you cannot live in a hope strategy. There is a formula. We teach it every single day. The question for you is, will you take this invitation? Because can you do it on your own? 100%. If you don't have the skill set, don't make the easy stuff hard. Come and have a conversation with us. Business development is non-negotiable. It should be your number one priority, because sales is the lifeblood of your business. Sales solves almost every problem in your business because it creates cash. And I will tell you this, if you don't prioritize it, it won't happen. But I guarantee you this, somebody today's ready to buy. Work your system, do the work. And if you need a mentor to remind you, invite you, encourage you, kick your butt and tell you to stop hiding, I'm for hire. I am Christine Campbell Rapin. We'll see you in our next episode. That's a wrap on another amazing episode of Amplify Your Marketing Message with me, your host, Christine Campbell Rapin. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you don't miss another great episode. And be sure to visit christinecampbellrapin.com/podcast to get a free resource on how to master your marketing message. We'll see you all